She will ask you a question that sounds harmless. You will feel the urge to answer. That's when you lose your frame. Listen carefully. Every man faces this moment. A woman looks you in the eye and says, "What are we?" Or, "Do you still think of me?" You think honesty will earn you trust. It won't. It earns you exposure. Before we go deeper, hit like and subscribe. If you want to understand power, you need to stay here. This question isn't about love. It's about position. She doesn't want your truth. She wants to know how much of yourself you'll give to please her. Most men hand it all over. A Stoic man does not answer every question. He reads intent. He protects his silence like a weapon. You don't owe words when words weaken you. So ask yourself this. When she tests your control, will you guard your calm or trade it for her comfort? Point number 1. The quiet trap. When was the last time you spoke just to fill the silence? When you felt that twitch to explain yourself, to make her understand, to prove you meant no harm, that's the moment you gave away the frame. Picture it. You're standing in the kitchen, her arms crossed, eyes cold. She asks something sharp, then waits. You rush in to fix it. You talk, clarify, apologize. Her silence grows heavier with each word you offer. You think you're repairing peace. You're feeding the test. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The ancient men understood stillness was strength. They faced storms, wars, betrayal. They learned to speak only when words moved reality. Today, men break under smaller storms. A question from a woman, a message left unread, a look that demands reaction. You rush to explain yourself because you fear the quiet. You think noise equals control. It never does. In Rome, silence was used by leaders to measure loyalty. In your world, it's used by women to measure your stability. The man who cannot stand in silence reveals his need to be accepted. The man who can wait without defense earns respect. The quiet trap is built on emotion. You want to close the gap, to escape tension, to fix the mood. But every word you drop into that silence makes you smaller. She doesn't need your explanation. She wants to feel your composure. When she sees you can hold your calm, she feels your strength without a word spoken. Train your silence. Ask yourself if you can still your tongue when your pride begs to speak, because this is only the beginning. Soon she will test more than your patience. She will test how much of yourself you can keep when the pressure rises. If you can't master silence, you won't survive what comes next. Point number 2, her real question. What do you think she's really asking when she says, "What are we?" You think it's about commitment. It's not. She already knows what you are. She wants to know what you'll give up to keep her. It happens fast. You're sitting on the couch. The night feels calm. Then she turns, voice soft but heavy, and drops the question. You feel it hit your chest. You start explaining your feelings, your plans, your reasons. She listens, but her eyes drift. Because she's not after your words. She's measuring your emotional center. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." The brave man speaks when he chooses, not when pulled. The Stoics understood that questions reveal power. Answering too fast shows fear. Control is not silence for its own sake, it's silence with purpose. In ancient courts, a ruler would stay quiet when challenged. He knew silence forced others to reveal themselves. Now, in your world, that test comes in the shape of a woman's question. She wants to see if you stand firm or fold under emotion. Not because she hates you, but because she wants to feel something rare. A man who doesn't need approval. Your instinct says to reassure her, to tell her what she wants to hear, but that only builds dependence on her comfort, not your calm. The moment you define yourself through her question, you stop leading. She senses it. Her attraction shifts. Her real question isn't about love, it's about strength. She wants to feel that she's with a man who doesn't explain himself to be accepted. Hold your frame. Answer with your presence, not your words. Train your composure. Can you stay grounded when she pulls you into her storm? Because next comes the part most men never see. When she learns you can't be moved by pressure, the game changes. That's when respect starts to replace control. Point number 3. When words expose you. Why do you talk when you should listen? You think words will save you. They won't. They only show her where to cut. Picture this. You're sitting in your car after a fight. Her last words still echo. You grab your phone, typing fast, explaining, defending, trying to fix it with logic. Every sentence you send reveals another weak spot. You think you're clarifying. You're confessing. Epictetus said, if you wish to improve, be content to appear foolish. The fool speaks to be understood. The wise man speaks only when his words serve purpose. Ancient men knew speech was a weapon. Once drawn, it cannot be taken back. In Rome, silence was a shield. Men measured power not by how much they said, but how little they needed to. Now your words move through screens, texts, and calls. Each one becomes evidence of your need for validation. She reads them, feels your desperation, and her respect slips away. You want her to know you care. You want her to see your side. But your words betray the emotion you hide. They expose your fear of losing her. And once she senses that fear, the balance shifts. You don't need to explain what went wrong. You don't need to justify your choices. You need to hold your composure when she expects you to fall apart. That silence says more than paragraphs ever could. Every man must learn this discipline. The restraint to let her think what she wants while you stay still. The patience to let time reveal your truth, not your tongue. Guard your words. Speak only when silence no longer serves you. Ask yourself, how much of your power leaks through your mouth? Because the next test won't be spoken. It will come through tone, distance, and time. And if your calm isn't built by then, you'll expose more than words ever could. Point number 4, losing frame in seconds. How fast do you lose yourself when she challenges you? One question, one shift in tone, and suddenly you're no longer leading the moment. You're defending it. It happens faster than you think. You're at dinner. She says you've changed. You laugh it off, but your pulse jumps. You start explaining how busy you've been, how you still care, how she's overthinking. You don't see it, but you've already surrendered. You gave her emotional control the second you reacted. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you become what you give your attention to. When your focus moves to her emotions, you stop owning your own. The ancients faced enemies in battle. Their tests were swords and shields. Your battles are quieter. They happen in the space between her words and your reaction. Frame is not posture. It's the calm that stays when pressure builds. It's not arrogance or indifference. It's rooted awareness. The moment you rush to fix, prove, or explain, your center collapses. She doesn't do it to break you. She does it to see if you can stand unshaken. Losing frame is not dramatic. It's subtle. A sigh, a raised voice, a look of guilt. Each signal tells her you need her validation more than your own peace. A Stoic man learns to feel the trigger without feeding it. He stays grounded while chaos circles him. He knows silence and slow breath are stronger than fast words. He knows control is internal, never given. Hold your center. Breathe before you respond. Train the gap between stimulus and speech. Can you face her storm without bending toward it? Because the next moment defines everything. If you can't stay composed when she tests your balance, she'll never feel your strength. But if you can hold your frame when every instinct tells you to explain, she'll see what most men never learn to be. Point number 5, power in restraint. What do you think power looks like? Most men think it's dominance, volume, or control. They don't see that the strongest move is often no move at all. Imagine this. You're standing in a hallway. She's angry, pushing your buttons, throwing words meant to wound. You feel the surge of adrenaline, the pull to fight back, to prove your point. But you stay still. You breathe. Her energy hits a wall she can't move. Seneca said, no man is free who is a slave to his emotions. The ancients understood restraint wasn't weakness, it was mastery. Gladiators trained not just to strike, but to wait. They knew patience was precision. In your world, it's no different. The man who reacts loses. The man who pauses controls the field. Restraint isn't silence for the sake of silence. It's a presence without surrender. You let her words pass through you without letting them define you. You don't match her emotion. You absorb it and stay grounded. That's what she feels when she looks at you and sees calm where most men show chaos. Your restraint makes her question her own storm. It rewires the dynamic. It reminds her that control is internal, not negotiated. This is the discipline most men avoid. They confuse stillness with passivity. They think walking away means weakness. It doesn't. It means you value peace more than proving a point. Restraint is power because it cannot be taken. It's built in silence, shown in composure, tested under pressure. Hold your fire. Let your calm do the talking. Train your pause. Ask yourself, can you stay unmoved when everything around you demands a reaction? Because soon the storm will return. She'll come with new words, new tests, and new noises. If you've built restraint into your core, nothing she says will move you. And that's when she finally believes you are what you claim to be. Point number 6. The weight of silence. What happens in the space after you stop talking? Most men can't stand it. They rush to fill it with words, explanations, and apologies. That's where their strength disappears. Picture it. You're sitting across from her. The air is heavy. She says you don't care anymore. You feel your throat tighten. You want to fix it, to say something that softens the tension. But you don't. You hold the silence. She waits, confused. That's when she starts feeling the weight you carry. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Silence is a lesson learned from the many sufferings of life." The ancients knew silence wasn't empty. It's charged with presence. They understood that quiet moments reveal more than speeches ever could. In your world, that truth remains. When you speak less, you make your presence louder. When you stop reacting, you start leading. Silence has weight because it forces reflection. It creates distance. It shows discipline. It tells her you are not led by emotion, that you decide when to speak and when to let her words die out on their own. You don't need to explain your value. You need to embody it. Your calm makes her feel what no argument can do. It makes her question herself. It pulls her into your gravity. But silence is heavy for a reason. It tests you first. It exposes your impatience, your insecurity, your need to be understood. Only when you face that discomfort do you gain control over it. Endure it. Hold your stillness. Let the quiet burn until it becomes familiar. Train your silence. Then ask yourself, can you sit in that weight without needing release? Because in what comes next, your voice will matter again. But if your silence carries no strength, your words will have no power. Learn to make your weapon quiet, or it will remain your weakness. Point number 7, holding the line. How many times have you broken your own rules just to keep her close? You said you'd stay calm. You said you wouldn't chase. Then one look, one message, one memory, and you fold. That's how men lose ground. Not in grand battles, but in small concessions. You give an inch every time you answer when you said you wouldn't. Every time you explain when you promised to stay silent. That's how the line fades. Epictetus said, "No man is free who cannot command himself." The ancients built strength through boundaries. They faced tempests and temptation and learned that discipline is not denial, it's direction. They held the line between desire and decision. You must do the same. When she tests you, it's not about the question she asks. It's about whether you'll betray your word to yourself. You think she wants softness, but she's looking for structure. When you hold steady, you give her something real to trust. When you waver, you teach her that your word is negotiable. Holding the line means standing firm even when your emotions want release. It's saying less when your pride wants to shout. It's walking away when your ego wants to win. You don't draw the line for her. You draw it for yourself. Every man has to decide what he stands for before the test comes. Because once you're in it, you won't have time to think. Your reactions will tell the truth. Stand your ground. Don't chase validation. Don't explain weakness. Hold what's yours. Ask yourself, how easily do you bend when pressure hits? Because the final test is not about silence or restraint. It's about endurance. If you can hold your line when emotion pulls hardest, you'll see what most men never experience. Respect born not from dominance but from unwavering control. Point number 8. The calm she can't break. When everything around you shakes, what stays still inside you? That's the measure of your calm. Not the calm you show when life is easy, but the one that survives when she pushes every button you have. You felt it. She says something sharp. You feel the rush, the pulse, the heat behind your ribs. You want to react, to prove, to fire back, but you don't. You breathe. You let the storm pass. That's when she realizes she can't move you. Seneca wrote, No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity. The ancients knew pressure creates presence. They faced loss, betrayal, humiliation, and built stillness through it. Your version happens through conversation, through tension, through the moments she tries to shake your certainty. It's not cruel, it's instinct. She tests to feel unshakable. Your calm is not cold, it's control. It's knowing your worth doesn't depend on how she reacts. It's leading without needing her agreement. When she feels that steadiness, her tone changes. She softens. Not because you won the fight, but because you refused to play it. This calm isn't built in comfort. It's forged through restraint, silence, and consistency. Every time you choose stillness over reaction, you grow stronger. Every time you stay grounded in her storm, you prove something to yourself. You are the anchor, not the wave. Hold that energy. Speak when it serves purpose. Move when it matters. Stay still when noise demands attention. Train your calm. Then ask yourself, when she tries to pull you off balance, will she find movement or silence that holds its ground? Because when she can't break your calm, the test ends. The dynamic shifts. She stops seeking control and starts feeling respect. That's when power turns quiet and you finally become untouchable. You've seen now how a single question, a moment of silence, or a test of emotion can shift everything. It's not about control over her. It's about control over yourself. That's the real strength most men never master. If this video gave you something to think about, I'm glad you stayed till the end. Every week, more men join this channel to sharpen their mind, build discipline, and reclaim presence. You're part of that now. So take a second to like this video if it spoke to you. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next step in this journey. Your growth starts with small choices like this: staying curious, staying aware, staying grounded. I'd like to hear from you too. Drop a comment below. What moment tested your calm the most, and what did you learn from it? Your story might help another man find his balance. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.